Do complex legal issues hold you back? Let's get energized and bring clarity to your top legal questions. This is Law Talk with the Flock by Goosmann Law Firm.
Welcome to Law Talk with the Flock. I'm your host, Jeana Goosmann, CEO, author, and business leader, here to help navigate you and your way through your life and the law and how you're a business leader today in 2020. And I'm so excited to have with me my managing partner, Joel Carney, who manages our Omaha operation and team and has just been a really key partner in the growth of Goosmann Law Firm. And Joel and I are going to talk with you a little bit today about what we've been doing at Goosmann and what we're thinking as far as how to practice law in 2020 and what the firm is up to in order to navigate these uncertain, unprecedented times that we've all been dealing with. Joel, welcome to the podcast.
It's great to be here, Gina. We've done this a few times now, but every time we do it, it's a little bit more natural. It feels like it's just something we do because
Well,
we do.
exactly. You and I talk a lot, pretty much every day, multiple times on all kinds of different issues, because there's a lot that goes into leading a law firm, isn't there, Joel?
You couldn't make this stuff up. It's amazing, just day to day, just the things you get to deal with. But it's exciting, and it's always the client problems and challenges are always going to be there. But also just managing this many people and working with a team the size that we do. There's just a lot going on, and a lot of moving parts because there are a lot of moving people because we're moving and shake it. We're movers and shakers here.
That's right. And one of your favorite things that you've adopted that you say frequently is people problems are my problems. And I love
Yes.
that. I think that that is all encompassing of what it means to be the managing partner of a law firm.
Yeah, there are, and that is a cuts both ways. Sometimes it's great to be the person, right, that makes those decisions, but it's then sometimes like, oh gosh, I got to deal with that right now. But it comes with the territory, and it's what you do when you're a leader, and it's why we get out of bed in the morning because we're like, well, we got to go do it. Let's go do it.
And Joel, you're also not only a leader of the law firm, but you're very active and a leader in the National Bar Association as well as in the Nebraska Bar Association. Can you share with everyone a little bit about what are some of those roles and hats that you also wear, Joel?
You bet. So I'm a member of the American Bar Association House of Delegates. I've been doing that for a few years now, that was kind of born out of my leadership positions in the Nebraska State Bar Association. So went all the way back to being a leader in the young lawyers section until I wasn't young anymore, and kind of from that point went into the general practice and solo smaller firm section division of the ABA, and through that now I'm on the American Bar Association GP Solo Counsel. So that's that leadership division, and we meet a few times a year to talk about problems for all kinds of practitioners, from small firms to even bigger firms our size, and just what lawyers are seeing. And it's great to be in a leadership position on all these different boards because I get to see kind of what's going on the coast. And as lawyers in the center of America, sometimes we're a little bit. Some of these trends get to us a little bit later, but we can kind of be on the front edge and be ready for things once they get here.
And I've always thought of the House of Delegates for the American Bar Association kind of like Congress. Is that a similar analogy that people could relate to when you say House of Delegates? What does that mean?
Yeah, so the ABA House of Delegates is the basically policy making, group of the American Bar Association, and it does feel like Congress in that it's very formal. Robert's Rules of Order, and people approaching the microphone and rising for this cause or to speak against a certain bill or policy that the group is debating. It's fun, but it's also again we are looked upon by all kinds of people who want to know what lawyers think. And the ABA is really the leading uh, operation that is on the forefront of all the things that are affecting lawyers today. So it's fun to be part of that. I've been doing it for, like I said, going on 5 years now, I think. And it's been a real challenge, but also very rewarding in terms of the things I've learned about. And it's helped me be a better leader and a better thinker.
And each state only gets so many delegates to the House of Delegates, right?
That's correct, and obviously it's very much like Congress in that regard, based on population. So Nebraska has currently 5 delegates, and so we have a young lawyer and 4 others, and the other 4 of us have been for various terms, going from 20, 30 years down to like me. I'm kind of one of the newer ones, and I've been at it for 5 years. So yeah, and then the young lawyer kind of rotates through as he or she is a member of the young lawyers section in Nebraska.
Well, the firm is really proud of you, Joel, for serving in that role and in that capacity and representing us in the American Bar Association. And I think that that's one of your many awesome leadership positions you have. In addition, you also serve in the Nebraska Counsel for Discipline Board.
Yeah, so I've done. So what I do is I'm the chair of the Disciplinary Review Board, which is appointed by the Nebraska Supreme Court. And what we do is we serve as kind of the appellate option after cases run through the Nebraska Counsel for Discipline's office. They make recommendations for certain action or discipline, and depending on who's not happy with that decision, they can appeal it to my board, and we appoint a 3-person panel to look at the evidence to decide if we agree, we affirm, or if we're going to send it back for more research, more information, and more action. So yeah, that's been doing that for 13 years, or so since 2013, I should say. And then also kind of related to that, I've also been doing the Nebraska Unauthorized Practice of Law Commission now for 2 years, also appointed by the Nebraska Supreme Court. So in that, it's just like the name sounds. We deal with complaints of alleged unauthorized practice of law throughout the state of Nebraska. Often the complaining parties are judges or lawyers that bring those people to our attention, and we deal with it. We put them on basically a cease or desist or a consent order, and they either cooperate, and if they don't cooperate, we send them to the attorney general for some action. So it's interesting. It's amazing what people try to do. There's a lot of wannabe lawyers out there, or people that don't think they need a lawyer, but they do, and our rules are there to protect the public, and that's how we serve. With that in mind.
So, with you having all these great leadership experiences with the bar, it was only natural too that you lead up the firm's internal professional responsibility committee that we just formed. As we've grown in size, we found that we have issues arise within the firm, so we have a committee that helps address those that you help lead. So, maybe share a little bit about what that is for the listeners.
Yeah, so we've got a leader from each one of our communities. Myself here from Omaha, Barry Sackett is kind of at large because he goes to all of our offices, but Sioux City and Sioux Falls, and along with Matt Abel. And the 3 of us are kind of the point people on the ground, boots on the ground in the offices, but also people know if they've got a question or something they just want to run past our committee, they can email us. And then we meet once a month to look at those issues, and we decide if it needs more action by the firm, or if we want to get an advisory opinion from the Nebraska or Iowa or South Dakota Counsel for Discipline's office or professional responsibilities offices. We can do that if it rises to that level. But usually we can, as a collective brain trust, kind of sit down and decide. Usually it's something that doesn't require more action, but it's good for our lawyers to know that they've had kind of our little internal group look at it and say that whether it needs more attention or it's something that they can, handle without formal action by escalating it.
Absolutely, which is great because we take our rules very seriously and our ethics and our obligations, and want to make sure that all of our attorneys in the firm have the resources that they need to follow those rules. And there's a lot of Greg in there, isn't there, Joel?
Yeah, the rules are meant to be pretty clear, but unfortunately, these we deal with people's problems and crazy situations and scenarios, and there's not the cookie cutter rule doesn't really exist to a lot of these fact scenarios. So you got to kind of really look at these things creatively from a experience point of view. Obviously, the more you deal with these things, the more it kind of makes sense, and you can find a rule that can at least give you some guidance. But then invariably, there are tough decisions and tougher scenarios that we escalate to either the Nebraska, Iowa, or South Dakota folks, just for more information and more guidance, because we all want to sleep well at night, and it's tough being a lawyer, and it's tough enough just doing it and practicing it, but also when it's a gray area and you want to keep your law license. Darn it, we gotta we want to make sure that everybody knows what's going on. So anyway, sorry, my camera adjusted there a little bit.
Awesome. Well, and we've certainly had a bunch of new scenarios that have come up in the world of COVID-19 and dealing with a worldwide pandemic. And so, with regard to that, let's talk a little bit about what we did as a law firm to help keep our team safe and our clients safe, and also ethically and responsibly practice law and make sure that we were attending to things. So, Joel, are you back? Okay, you're unfrozen. Great.
I'm here.
I was gonna have a frozen conversation with Joel.
Maybe I was standing still, I guess.
You have good dance moves. Maybe you were doing the robot.
Yeah, that's right. It's just part of the repertoire.
Yeah, so we were working remotely, which was great because we were able to do so quickly and have our team work remote. But then we brought everybody back on June 1. What are your thoughts on how we handled that, and kind of give everybody an overview?
Yeah, well, we were lucky in that we kind of had the technology in place. Some things that we hadn't really had to use before, but we got the opportunity to use, including Microsoft Teams, which we're talking on right now. Some of the technology tools that we just had never really had to or thought to utilize, like Microsoft Teams, really allowed us to stay close and connected as a team, and basically allowed us to collaborate as if we were sitting across a table as opposed to sitting across a screen from each other. But it really helped us. Our software was such that we could work from home, still take care of clients timely, make sure that we were responding and responding quickly to things that our clients had never seen. But it made it easy to act like we were meeting across the table from them and make them feel that connection, feel that they were getting the attention they needed. So no, I think we were, we have a great group of people that were on the forefront of a lot of these COVID questions about what they needed to do when it came to PPP loans and other employment issues. We had a nice kind of a action team of folks that were on the forefront, and so people wanted to find us and wanted to get our opinions, and we could give it, and that's why we're here. We're here to serve, and our clients obviously were seeing new things every day, and we were making sure we could go get a quick answer for them.
Absolutely. And I think that we had that task force to look at those new laws and get things out and put them up in our toolkit. And
Yep.
we're fortunate too to have a marketing team that was able to help get those emails out to clients so that they had them and get it in the newsletter and post it online. And
Right.
that engine really came in handy for us during the time. I've never seen that much law that affected business come out so quickly.
Yeah, it was obviously this 2020 has been the year that you can't make up. It's truth is stranger than fiction type of year, and it's really been fun to be with such a diverse, talented team that knows so much in so many areas that it's kind of like we were ready made for a situation like this, and hopefully we're getting over the hump. But you never know each day. Heck, this could be just the beginning of the next wave. So we're happy to be here and happy to serve, and I'm glad we have a team that's kind of on the cutting edge of a lot of these areas.
Absolutely. And you talked about remotely. Heck, we're doing this remotely right now, aren't we? So you're sitting in the Omaha office and I'm sitting up in our Sioux Falls office right now.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think what this technology has opened our eyes and all of our clients' eyes to the fact that you can still be very effective and connected despite being 300 miles apart from each other or more. There's a connection that's actually when you can look somebody in the eye here, and we can smile at each other, and it's just not that a phone call isn't often effective, but sometimes it's really nice to be able to share your screen and show somebody a legal document and put a highlighter over it, and just the technology, the visual connection is something that you can't really put a price on, and I think it makes people feel like that they are heard and that their problem is being understood and solved.
And we really do work together as a team within the firm across our three offices. And we're really conscious to make sure that we always have the right state attorney on the team. But then if there is a lawyer that has a special skill set that we think would benefit a client in a different state or in a different matter, we make sure that we partner together and bring them in and just be really collaborative in that regard, which I think is unique to Goosman.
It is, obviously it's good for everybody, right? I mean, we all want the superstar team. We always call it. I always laugh. Let's assemble the Avengers, but you want to send the right superstars, the right talent group to tackle that specific problem because our estate planning lawyers don't want to go to deal with bankruptcy matters, although there's so much overlap in the business centric type of law that we do. It's nice to be able to hear and see things through another practitioner's eyes and their expertise.
And I know that's another thing that you and I spend a lot of our time doing is making sure we do have the right team on the matters and coordinating people within the team to make sure that not everybody might know that this attorney at our office, they were a fintech lawyer and they have this deep knowledge of experience. And so then when a matter comes up, you and I can say, oh, we should put that particular attorney with that fintech background on this
Mhm.
contract or on this deal. And so just getting the right team assembled and all the moving parts is a big role for the managing partner.
It definitely is, and it also, we also know like we're always looking, for we've been growing since we met. I mean, this firm has been the rocket ship that just, we keep on adding to our practice areas, and I think it's allowed us to be also strategic in the folks that we've kind of wanted to go recruit and bring into the firm and bring onto the team. And we're always thinking about that, and that's always kind of changing and growing based on what we're seeing as far as trends and what the needs are for our clients and our firm. And so that's allowed us to kind of grow the group strategically in the practice areas that make the most sense for what our clients need today and hopefully tomorrow.
Absolutely. When you talk about recruiting, you've been one of our top recruiters, Joel, obviously growing the whole Omaha office and beyond. And when we talk to attorneys about what makes Goosman different, what are some of the main things that you discuss with them?
You know, the first thing I always, we do run this like a business. I'm not to say that, I mean, all firms run as a business, but some don't run on business principles. I think we really think of it from things that they don't teach us in law school. We think about it and run it like a very, like a Fortune 500 company. We stay in connection. We don't just have, bi-monthly partner meetings. We talk all the time. We set goals. We follow up on goals. We meet one on one. We want to understand all of our folks and don't want to just say, oh, 2 months from now, how'd that go? We know we're all in it as we go. And I think that is really the fact that we're so connected and so in touch. And we have weekly what we call our kick ass accomplishments that it's basically a synopsis of what people did this week and what they're going to do next week. That's a unique communication tool that allows us to really be in tune with each other and our clients and what's going on. And so we can also again, we've grown so big. You might see something on somebody's weekly synopsis that they didn't know that we have a fintech expertise in Sioux Falls or something like that, and we go like, hey, wouldn't you like some more help over here? It just allows us to kind of move on the fly and pivot when needed or when it's appropriate to kind of anticipate those clients' needs. So I think that's why I say we're different. Now, obviously, the other things that we see in terms of marketing, we're you're going to find us, you're going to see us, but we're also, we grow business organically from a grassroots level because we do good work. That's going to happen naturally, but we also are forefront. I think we're probably in the top whatever percent, 5% of the world in terms of marketing strategically in getting the right message to the right people. And we listen to what lawyers want to do because we're strength based. We want them to work in their strength zones. So we build a marketing plan around that business plan that lets that lawyer grow into that. All of a sudden they're like, man, I said it and you helped me get there. I think I know that we've talked about it. I know that's very gratifying to you, and it's very, that's the kind of thing that makes it worth it to all of us.
Absolutely. When we can help both our clients and then internally our team grow and accomplish their goals, I think that's to me the most gratifying component of the whole firm is what makes it worth it. And we have different testimonials about that from people that come up in unique ways. I know just recently we had our all team meeting, and one of our lawyers shared on how we gave him a chance to do something that really was meaningful to him. And he credited the firm to help him grow in that regard. And I never saw it that way, right? To me, I was recruiting an outstanding, talented attorney, and he was saying I gave him a chance. And so that is really exciting when you get to help people accomplish their dreams and work as a team to get there, for sure.
Yeah, I think people grow here as professionals. Obviously, all lawyers get continuing legal education, but we give them kind of a marketing push, I don't know, a mindset, a wellness mindset that puts them in a place where they can be their best version of themselves and their best lawyer they can be. And that's, I think that's again what it's pretty great at the end of the day or the end of the week or each year to kind of see the growth that all of our folks do or have gone through in terms of growing their legal practice, their capability, and finding out how great they can be.
Absolutely. Well, Joel, thank you so much for hopping on. Before we go, anything that you want to say about the ethical practice of law right now in COVID? Because I know you just did another webinar on that, and you're kind of the foremost speaker. So I do want to touch upon that a little bit more.
You know, I think it's just making sure you're staying up with the current challenges, in terms of protecting your client's data is a big ethical concern right now because the scammers are after everybody more than ever because they're not going to waste a good crisis like this because everybody's not quite as, where they would be normally. They're more apt to click on something that they shouldn't. But I think right now is what I'm seeing is, some of our older lawyers or not tech savvy lawyers. Make sure you're relying on somebody that is that person that does know their way around and making sure that you've got your computer updated, all the patches installed because there's a new patch every week. And if your computer is stuck, you're just a sitting duck, and you're going to get attacked. I mean, yeah, uh, and it's just a way, unfortunately, a way of the world right now. So I think that's the biggest thing. Yeah, we're going to be using more technology, but if you don't understand it, associate yourself with somebody who does, and you'll go far and make sure that go a long way towards not putting yourself out there where you don't want to be, which is where you either get hacked, you lose clients' data, and you have to make that call to the client saying sorry. We're on it, but we've lost some data, and that's a call nobody wants to make.
Absolutely. And I think that is a risk that every day changes, right? I know just yesterday I got one that I thought looked really clever. It was an invitation to a Zoom meeting. And we're doing so many Skype and Zoom and Teams, all those different ones. It's not uncommon to get an invitation like that. And then I looked at it a little closer and like, well, that doesn't look like a legit email address behind it. But
Right.
especially when you're on your phone, right? And we work from our phones so much that those email addresses look hidden behind there. And it can be so easy to click on something that you shouldn't. And I know that's part of why we've started doing penetration testing too within our team, where our IT sends out bogus emails to the team just to make sure they're staying on it. And then they get the phone call from IT saying, why'd you click on that? You shouldn't be clicking on
Mhm.
it. And then that
Yep.
escalates. You and I didn't know who that is because they tell us. And we're like,
Yes.
and then in their one-on-one, we can be like, so you clicked on that, did ya?
Yeah, a little bit of shaming across the table is always effective, and to make them think twice before they click it next time. And yeah, it's important. That we've all had these business continuity plans for certain disasters that we thought, if we had a fire or a tornado. This is kind of the COVID disaster that our business continuity plans didn't maybe anticipate, but a penetration test. Again, going through your call list, making sure that everybody's still connected, and that we have like a snapshot of what all files that every lawyer has and the backup for if that person is down for a couple weeks or can't come to the office or can't practice law. We've got somebody in the wings that can swoop in and pick up, and we know where everything's at, so we've kind of got a backup plan in that regard. So these are all things that are they were somewhat theoretical before, but boy, we're kind of living it right now and having to make sure that these plans are in place. And now that they contemplate new things we never thought were possible.
And some of that has also led us to having discussions on succession planning for some of the older attorneys or with smaller firms that perhaps they don't want to take on these new tech challenges. And so they're looking for other options to phase out of their career. And we've loved having those discussions with them. And I think that those will be more to come.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a growth area. Our firm has successfully brought in some older lawyers who had kind of, obviously been very successful solo practitioners, but as they kind of have gone more senior in their careers, they've been looking for options. Then, we've kind of got a few people that can talk to that success and the basically seamless transition they were able to make into our office and make their practice fly, but also have somebody to hand the reins over to when they decide, okay, I'm going to walk in, I'm going to walk into the sunset, and I've got somebody to take over my practice. And so that's been a nice option. And I think a huge growth potential for us in the future just because we do it right.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Joel. I absolutely love working with you, and I appreciate you sharing your insights with everyone. And this was a little bit of us just giving a sneak peek into some of the things that we get to talk about on a regular basis.
It is, yeah. We call this, Tuesday or Wednesday every week. We talk often in the same way, and it's kind of nice to share a little bit about the way we talk and the way we think about things. But I'm sure we'll do it again very soon. It's always fun to talk, and obviously you're full of great ideas and processes and systems that we've been able to make this thing just work and make it a nice place to work, and that's the goal. That's what we want people to feel every day.
Awesome. Well, thanks for tuning in and listening to us, and go make it worth it.
Thanks for joining us for Law Talk with the Flock by Goosmann Law Firm. We hope you feel energized and ready to soar past your goals. Become a Flock fan and subscribe to our podcast for weekly episodes. Learn more at goosmanlaw.com.